Scourge, but killing several Scourge. So, exciting stuff here. Now Stats attacking the teeth of this Spore Colony, killing two more Overlords, losing a Corsair to a Spore Colony. Stats is suffering, I think, more losses of the Corsairs than he wants. He has done a good amount of damage thus far, but I think he needs to try to do more. Lots of Dragoons coming out here for Stats. He's using the Dragoons to pick away at this hatchery. That's kind of clever, but there are so many Zerglings out. If he mixes a few more Zealots into his army, I think he would be in better shape. Because now So is angling for surround attack, looks like, with his Zerglings. Plus the Zerglings have +1 Carapace finish, so I guess the Zealots won't be nearly as good now. The hatchery goes down, so pushing ahead with some of these with his Zerglings. Stats fighting on the ramp as best he can, delaying that main body of Zerglings from uniting with the secondary force. Big battle Zerglings. Stats unleashing his Corsairs at the same time. Great thing about Corsairs, you can unleash them like that. For a Scourge require a good micro. Now Scourge coming in, wiping out a good number of the Corsairs. Most of the Corsairs go down. However, Stats has done what he wants to do with the Corsairs. He's killed a lot of Overlords. And So's counterattack has driven Stats back for now, inflicting significant casualties. However, So surely is almost supply blocked at this point. He's lost too many Overlords. He's also lost a hatchery. The hive is already finished for So. So So is actually in a great position, I feel, as long as he can protect his Overlords, which he should be able to do from now on. So stopping Stats trying to expand with tons of Zerglings. So's just using Zerglings this entire time. He's not investing his gas in anything else this entire game. Now Stats unloading some Dragoons probably on top of his ramp, and So has nothing with which to respond. So he probably should have done this a bit earlier. Creep Colony going down. A massive army of Zerglings coming out. They probably have, they have Adrenaline Gland upgraded, so Stats is in trouble now. Those Scourge almost picking out the shuttle, not quite. Those Adrenaline Gland upgraded Zerglings absolutely destroying these Dragoons, which do have +1 armor. That's going to help as best as possible. And these Dragoons forced to retreat. The Dragoons on the ramp, or on the cliff I should say, are doing good damage. Whole bunch of Dark Templar with a shuttle. This is what I feel Stats needed to do earlier. 4 Dark Templar with a shuttle. He's also rebuilt most of his Corsairs, and there's no defenses here. 4 Dark Templar, as long as they snipe the Spore Colony and then kill the Overlord, they'll be fine. These Dark Templar are doing the best they can. 1 Dark Templar goes down, a 2nd Dark Templar goes down, lots of Scourge coming out. So doing a great job, I have to say, this game, fighting back Stats here. Surely So is morphing some more Overlords, and Stats losing too many units, really, in this game for him to be effective. Most of Stats' Dark Templar have gone down. He's got 1 Dark Templar left out of the 4 that he dropped, and unfortunately this just isn't going to be enough. He's lost another Corsair to yet more Scourge. Dark Templar getting surrounded, this drop coming to nothing. And unfortunately, I think Stats is in deep trouble now. His attacks have not worked. He's dropping some Zealots, but these Zealots are not going to do well against the Zerglings. The most important thing is So has not spent his gas on anything else this entire game. He's probably getting ready to morph a massive army of Ultras. All he's used are Zerglings, which have been incredibly effective. Unfortunately for Stats, he went for that early Dragoon push, which did not work out well at all against all these Zerglings. If Stats had gone for the more conventional speed lot Templar Archon army, he would have been much better off. Or if he had got the Reavers. So Stats knows he's in trouble. He can't put down his new base. He's forced to use his army to defend it. But I think So is going to mass up his forces for a massive attack. The only thing is, I don't know what So is saving all his gas for. Is he getting ready to morph a dozen Ultras at once? But I haven't seen the Ultralisk Cavern, so it is a bit confusing. At least I'm a bit perplexed by So's play. He has 2 Evolution Chambers, probably upgrading Well, he's got +2 carapace, but he doesn't have +1 claws. These Zerglings are trying to break through the natural of stats, but that's not going to work. So surely is getting prepared to unleash a massive army of Ultralists. That's gotta be it. That's the only explanation I can think of. On the other hand, he's actually been operating on 3 gas and now 2 gas most of the time. He's got the filers, so maybe he actually doesn't really have the gas. So with very interesting, almost pure Zergling build, these Zerglings, absolutely massive number of Zerglings coming in to attack Stat's new base. A huge swarm. That Archon's going to be critical into this defense, but the Archon goes down. These Zealots do their best to fight back the massive swarm of Zerglings. They're going to be able to hold for now, probably, especially with these Templar coming in to reinforce. But the Zerglings inflict disproportionate casualties. Even more Zerglings streaming, doing an incredible job slaughtering everything in this space. Wow, I mean, Stats managed to hold, but he suffered so many casualties. And again, So has yet to unleash his main army. He's been doing a pretty good job this game. Now we have the robotic support bay coming out for Stats. Stats having managed to secure his 3rd base. Very important, I feel, for Stats to try to get another base up, which he is trying to do, but not succeeding very well. That Corsair going down to Scourge. Stats' Air Force has been almost completely wiped out at this point. That's not very good. Zerglings repeating their attacks, picking away at these cannons here, and now they're going to go to work on, looks like on High Templar. That Templar manages to get some reasonably good storm off. Unfortunately, the Zergling is too fast, dodging most of the storms there. Shield battery up, that's actually going to help the Archons quite a bit. Archons almost pure shields. I still don't know why So has not used his gas for anything. He's morphing a few lurkers now, so he's going to mix lurkers into his army. The Dragoon still picking away at an attempt to put down a new extractor now, so it looks like he's going to be trying to go up to his full 4 gas. Probably should have done a bit earlier. We have a Defiler out. Surely it's got Plague research. That's what the Defiler would be great for, plaguing all those Zealots, which would make them easier pickings for the Zerglings. Stats has at least managed to mass himself up a decent-sized army now, and I think Stats' Corsair control has not been the best this game. He had been a bit more careful about his Corsairs and utilized them better. I think he would be in a stronger position. Perhaps So is angling for some sort of drop here. We have a storm over some attacking Zerglings, but there are yet more Zerglings. Massive battle in the front. Plague going down on all these Zealots. There are now quite a few lurkers out, and they're forced to storm his own units even a bit. 2 Reavers out. The Reavers and Archons will be able to defend that 3rd base without problem. But Stats is in some trouble now. He's really only down to 1 mining base. We have a whole bunch of Zerglings dropping Stats' main. Stats is going to struggle here. Oh, actually, there's not enough Zerglings. Stats should be able to clean that up with his reinforcement. Tons more Zerglings coming out. The Zerglings have 3 carapace and 1 claw, so these are going to be some powerful Zerglings before long. Stats doing his best with a combination of storms and Zealots to defend. Stats needs to continue upgrading his forces. Do not neglect armor. It looks like another massive battle at the front here. A High Templar getting picked off. More little Zerglings picking away at some of these units here. There are Reavers out, and now the tiered sunken defense is up for so I don't think there's any chance of Stats breaking through. This sort of defense absolutely going to wreak havoc with Zealots. Stats not really able to withdraw his forces, getting his observer picked off, getting his shuttle picked off. Stats in desperate trouble here. Those Reavers crawling about uselessly. Stats doing what he can to try to save them. 1 Reaver goes down. But unfortunately for Stats, without the shuttle, he's sending Zealots suicidally almost at this point. I mean, he's not going to be able to break this sort of lurker defense with Zealots and Archons like this, and Stats basically suicided his entire army. Wait, now So has unleashed his macro economy forces here, picking off Stats' reinforcements, killing everything. GG coming from Stats. Well played game by So, I have to say. Stats could have done significantly better, I feel, most of the game. But So played very well. Economy of force, I have to say, with his Zerglings. Going on to set 5.
경기를 이끌었다는 생각이 들고요. 마지막에는 정말 저글링 쇼맨시까지도 어느 정도 보여주면서 재밌는 경기를 선사했네요.
박용 감독이 갑자기 임재범 씨처럼 보이네요. 자, 정말 3대1로 앞서가고 있습니다. 이제 5번째 세트 서킷 브레이커. 이영호 선수 충격기를 보면 유력해지는 것가 아니라 확정적이라고 봐도 과언은 아닐 것 같아요.
그렇습니다. 이렇게 된 이상 이제 3대1로 지금 코너에 몰리고 있는 KT 로스터 5경기에서는 이영호가 무조건 나와야 될 것 같은데요.
네. 근데 태태전이나 태풀전이 한데 자, 잠시 후에 여러분께 이제 공개를 해드리겠고요. 방금 전에 있었던 경기 과연 또 무엇이 문제였는지 또 지적을 한번 해봐야 되지 않겠습니까? 이 어윤수 선수의